what was going on here, but now we're going to graph 2x plus b, and we're going to change the value of the number that's after the variable. So, do you remember that 2 was the slope here, the one that gets multiplied by the x? Yes? We're not using a calculator. So these are all a slope of 2. And how do I make a whole number slope a fraction to get it into rise over run form? Yeah, put it over 1. So all of these are over 1. So this is what we're kind of learning how to graph these things here. And then you can see that the value of b, that's the number that's after here, are -4, -2, 0. Let's try to find the x-intercept of y equals 2x minus 2. So how do I do that? Do you remember? Do you remember how to find the x-intercept? No, not using your calculator. No calculator, no calculator at this point. What? Anybody? How do you figure out what your x-intercept is? You make y 0. Thank you. So you make y 0 and solve for x. So for instance, in this one, if y is 0, you get 0 equals 2x minus 2. Then you move the 2 over, you get 2 equals 2x. Yes? So what is my x-intercept? 1. So if I put a point on 1, and I have a slope of 2, does everybody see? From this point, I can go up 2 over 1, and I have enough to figure out what this line looks like. Anybody know how to find the y-intercept? Oh, this is not exactly. Who knows how to find the y-intercept? Make x 0. Very good. So now we're going to make x 0. We get y equals 2 times 0 minus 2. What happens when we make x 0? This whole thing goes away, and we get y equals minus 2. And you can see it clearly goes through minus 2 right there. Okay, so what can we conclude here? When it's written in y equals mx plus b form, I can read what and what really easily. I can read the y-intercept. Does everybody see that these are all the y-intercepts? Why are they all the y-intercepts? Because when x is 0, that wipes away this 2x on every single one. Does that make sense? So the y-intercept's just the number that's after the b. Okay? What else can I read very clearly when it's in y equals mx plus b form? The slope. I'll use a different color pen here. The slope. So this is my slope. This is my y-intercept. Okay, so here's my first one, which was y equals 2x minus 4, and this is y equals 2x minus 2. So let's graph this one now. So if it's y equals 2x minus 0, what is my y-intercept? 0. So here's now a new technique of plotting a graph. Using the b, you put a point on that, and then you use the slope, and from that point you're going to go. What does slope of 2 mean? Up 2 over 1. Do you see? Okay, we connect the dots. And there's our line. Don't make short, stubby line segments. Make a line with arrows, right? So what is my x-intercept by just looking at it now? 0. And what is my y-intercept by just looking at it? 0. That just happens to be because if your x-intercept is 0, your y-intercept has to be a 0 in the line, right? Okay, so keep going here. Y equals 2x plus 2. So what is my slope? It is 2. 2 over 1, yes? What is my y-intercept? No, my y-intercept. It's 2. So how did I show you how to graph this? You put a point on the y-intercept, which in this case is 2. And then we're going to do what? Up 2 over 1. If you want, you can do that again. Up 2 over 1. Just to get a pattern going so that you can take your ruler and connect the dots, right? Everybody see how I did that so fast? Okay, oops. I gotta line it up again. So this is y equals 2x plus 2. Okay, what is my y-intercept for this equation? Well, you can read it off there. What is it? -1. Say you couldn't read it, how would I figure out that the x-intercept was -1? Yeah, you set y to 0. So you get 0 equals 2x plus 2. Move the 2 over by doing what? Subtracting 2. So do you see that x equals -1? Yeah? It should all work together. Algebraically and graphically, they should fit. So when you actually solve these things, it should match your graph. And if it's not, you did something wrong. Okay, again, what is my y-intercept in y equals 2x plus 4? What's my y-intercept? It's 4. What's my slope? 2 over 1. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put a point on 4, and I'm going to go up 2 over 1. Okay, I can also go, if I run out of room, I can also go a slope of 2 over 1. I could go down to left 1. Do you see? It would be still going up to the right. Sometimes you're forced to go that way because you run out of room, right? I think you found that in, there we go. Doesn't look parallel, but we know they're parallel. Why? Just the way I drew my lines. Why are they parallel? Same slopes. Okay, so y equals mx plus b. What's that stand for again? Your y-intercept. What does that stand for again? Your slope. And what's the quick way of graphing? First plot what? Your y-intercept. Yeah? Then use your slope to get your rise over run to get your second point. You see how I did that? I put a point on 4, up 2 over 1, got my second dot, connected the lines. What was the other method of graphing from yesterday? Or the x, yeah, Thursday? It was the x and the y-intercept graph, right? Method of, you plotted the x-intercept, the y-intercept, and you connected it that way. Okay, let's keep going here. You could use either or unless it says you have to use this. And actually, once we get going on this, it's basically going to be left up to you. Some methods are easier depending on what the equation are. Okay? So, when it's written like this, y equals mx plus b, guess what the easiest way to graph it is? The slope and the y-intercept, right? Because I can just read it. Do you see? What's my b? -6. What's my slope? 2. And if I want it in rise over run form, it's 2 over 1. My x-intercept. You cannot tell your x-intercept by just looking at it, but you can do quick mental math and solve it pretty fast, right? My x-intercept is 0 equals 2x minus 6. Move the 6 over, divide by 2. What do you get? You get 3. And if you can't do that in your head, then write it down. Move the 6 over, you get 6 equals 2x. Do you see now why I get x equals 3? Okay, and then of course my b is my y-intercept, so it's -6, yes? Okay, so it's up to you which way you want to graph. If I've already calculated my x and my y-intercept, I can use that method. if I haven't, then it might be easier just to look at it and use my y-intercept and my slope. So my x-intercept is 3. My y-intercept's -6. Do you see? It's pretty easy just to connect those dots. Or otherwise, I'm going to use a blue pen. I can plot my y-intercept, which is -6, and then go up 2 over 1. Do you see it's going to be in the same graph or the same line? Either way, I get the same line when I graph it, yes? So it's your choice unless it says you need to graph it a certain way. Okay? Let's move on here. Y equals 2x plus 6. What is my b? Positive 6. What's my slope? 2 over 1. What's my x-intercept? -3. Very good. And if you didn't know it was -3, again, solve algebraically. 0 equals 2x plus 6. Move the 6 over by subtracting. I get -6 equals 2x. Do you see how I get x equals -3? And then my y-intercept, of course, is my b, which is 6. So what should we do? Do you want to try it with your slope y-intercept this time? Put a point on 6. Uh-oh. If I go up 2 over 1, I might be off the line. So what's an alternate thing to do? Go down to left 1. Do you see I'm still going up to the right? Why is that the case? Because a -2, which means down 2, and left 1, do you see it's a negative over a negative, which still gives me a positive slope. Okay, and then we connect the dots. Yes? Remember, not a short, stubby line segment. It's a line with arrowheads, right? Okay, how does changing the value of b change the line? Yes. When b increases, the line moves up. If b decreases, the line moves down. What does b represent again? Your y-intercept. Very good.